Xerox PARC. And that's where they got the ideas for the screen. That's where they got the ideas for the mouse. Xerox actually came up with the idea of the mouse initially, and then Steve Jobs and Apple worked on it to make a ball so that it could work differently. So, I mean, this is kind of a little bit disingenuous where Apple comes up and says, you know, these people are stealing, and, you know, there is a pollination that happens between these companies, and I think it strives so that we as the consumers can ultimately benefit. I think what I'm saying is, where the consumers lose psychologically is that Apple is the innovator. That's the perception. Whether they won the case or they lost the case. I mean, what they've really done is they've perceived that Samsung is an imitator and Apple is an innovator. And that, even though if the case gets overturned, even though the case gets thrown out, they're still going to have that memory burned in there that Apple's the innovator. And that's where they win. And that's
Luca, what's the chance for Samsung to overturn the verdict?
Well, that's why I say the case is not final yet, right? Because it's not the final judgment. Yeah, I do believe that Samsung, as they stated, they will appeal, and they have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the first step actually is this, is that step one is they go back to the Samsung lawyers go back to the judge and they say, you know what, the jury, these 9 people found and gave us this decision, and this doesn't follow the law. They didn't follow the instructions, they didn't follow the 109 pages, and by law, you have to throw this out. That's what Samsung's going to say. That's the first step. The second step, if the judge ignores that, then we'll go to appeal that case, and then again appeal to the Supreme Court. So they still have an opportunity under law. They can say, remember, the jury deliberation was some crazy short period of time. It was 109
It's indeed something that has amazed the Chinese. That must have been amazed the Chinese who are ignorant about the functions and the role of the jury. The juries are laymen, and the juries are laymen. They don't know specific details about the technological innovations, yet they made the final decision. They gave the verdict.
Right, which is, I mean, but that's the idea. In civil and common law, I mean, the jury makes law. Okay, that it's not the judge, but it's the jury, and everyone's entitled to a jury trial in just about every instance in the United States that requests one. Okay, but you have to pay and all these kind of things to have the jury. But my point is it's shocking. You're right that it went to the jury. What I think is more shocking is this chief juror. This guy, his name is, I think Hogan was his name. But he came out, he holds 2 patents himself, he has a patent pending, and he's come out and said, I want to send a message, or he said a bunch of things. I think those are going to be used against him and against Apple, and they'll probably throw out part of the case, because for him to come out and say these things about jury deliberation, or we ignore the 109 pages of instructions, you just can't do that. You have to follow the instructions by the court, and the jury comes up with a decision. And so